6. Millions of elderly people, as well as people with health problems, have been advised to avoid heavy exercise as pollution levels rise across many areas of England. Well, these were the regions forecast to be hit today, with the areas in purple, red and pink having either high or very high levels. It's all being caused by a mix of dust from the Sahara and local and European emissions. And those with asthma and other breathing-related conditions are being urged to follow the health warnings. Our science editor, David Shookman, has more.
A thick haze descended this morning, and it wasn't fog, it was pollution. This was Ipswich, shrouded in air that was given the highest level of warning. Across the country, cars were covered in a layer of dust, adding to an already serious problem. For an asthma sufferer like Andrianne Thomas, these are tricky times. She only goes out when she has to, and it's quite an effort. The poor quality of the air means that using an inhaler has become essential.
Through walking from the house to here, I was having to stop more frequently, having more tight-chested, getting a little bit breathless, and I noticed that my voice is going as I'm speaking to you now, and that's not normal.
So where's the pollution been coming from? Well, some of it is homegrown. It's from our traffic and power stations. The rest has built up over European cities and industries and then blown across the Channel. On top of that, there's a third source, from the Sahara. The winds carrying clouds of dust our way, adding to an unhealthy mix. Vast storms in the desert lift dust into the air on a massive scale. And even though this is 2,000 miles away, the dust can be swept through the atmosphere all the way to Britain. You could just make out the towering landmarks of London this afternoon. Over the past half-century, Britain's cities have become far cleaner, but air pollution is still estimated to cut 6 months from the average life expectancy. Sometimes you can actually see the pollution, but the best guide is instruments like these, part of a network across the country which regularly records our air being dirtier than recommended limits. What's unusual this time, though, is the mix of pollution and that dust from the Sahara. And let me show you how striking that can be. Here's a filter paper before it's been used. Here's one after just 24 hours. For anyone at risk, the health advice is clear.
If you've got heart disease or lung disease such as asthma, then reduce the amount of strenuous physical activity that you take outdoors and be aware that you may need to use your inhalers more.
So far, conditions have not been as severe as forecast, but this episode isn't over, and it won't be the last.
Well, as you can see, David joins us now. What are the predictions then for the coming days and weeks?
Well, the forecast is still for bad air conditions tonight and into tomorrow, with a slight shift in the regions affected from the east of the country more to the Midlands. The good news is that with our very changeable weather, our pollution episodes like this never last that long. And with forecast wind and rain, they're likely to sort the problem out by Friday and certainly by the weekend.
But your findings were stark in your report. I mean, how bad a problem do we have with pollution here?
Well, Britain is in breach of European Union requirements on air pollution. The EU reckons that there are 400,000 premature deaths every year across the EU from air pollution. So Britain, along with half the member states, face legal proceedings over this. Now, the British government says it's doing all it can, that there is a massive problem because so many of our vehicles are diesels. Diesels are particularly bad for generating this kind of pollution. It wants a longer time to sort the problem out than Brussels is happy to give us. So that's clearly a source of tension there. When it comes to what the government can do, clearly no one can sort out whether the Sahara sends us more sand in future. But clearly there are things that can be done and pressure will mount to try to sort them out.
OK, David, thank you.